Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Newzik Talks, the video series in which I discuss digital transformation in the music community with experts and innovators from the sector. I'm your host, Paul Leverger. I'm the CMO of Newzik, a collaborative platform that lets you organize and work on digital scores, and I'm also a musician myself. I'm a strong advocate of technology, and in this series I want to discuss its benefits for the global music community, but I'm also aware of its potential pitfalls. And so are my guests, which makes for pretty interesting debates. In this episode, I have the pleasure to receive Fabrizio Ferrari, CEO of Virtual Sheet Music. Virtual Sheet Music is a music publishing company based in California. Now, the word music publishing company probably makes you think of a centuries-old traditional company who produces paper scores out of composers' manuscript, distributes them and sells them at your local music shop. And that's what most of them still do in 2021. But Virtual Sheet Music is nothing like that. Founded in 1999, Virtual Sheet Music is a digital-only music publisher, meaning it does not print or ship any paper scores at all. On the contrary, Virtual Sheet Music offers PDF downloads from their website, something most publishers don't even consider today. They also add video and audio accompaniments with the scores that they sell, and they even have a subscription model with which you can receive new scores every month. Pretty innovative, right? That's what I thought, so I really wanted to invite Fabrizio to have a discussion about it. I need to warn you that while we recorded this episode, we had some noise issues with the microphones, so if you hear some glitches from time to time, don't be alarmed. But before we get started, a few words about Newzik. Newzik is a collaborative platform where you can organize all your sheet music library, use lots of different tools to rehearse, practice and perform, and most importantly, with Newzik you can share your scores and markings with other users in real time. We work with music schools and educators to help them connect with their students online, but also with music ensembles, orchestras and opera houses, as well as with music publishers to help them distribute their catalog digitally in a legal and secure way. Newzik is available from any device on the web, and there's also an iOS app. And if you'd like to know more about it, you can visit our website newzik.com to create your account and get started for free. The link is in the description of this video. Now let's jump into this interview. Hi Fabrizio, thank you very much for sitting down with me today to discuss all these topics about digital sheet music and digital transformation in the music community. So first of all, can you let us know a little bit about your background and what drove you to start a music publishing company?
Sure. Hi, Paul, and thank you for having me here. Well, it's a long story. I used to be a professional violinist. I used to play in orchestras in Italy, and I also had a degree in music composition and electroacoustic music composition, which is pretty interesting for a violinist. So the fact is that besides my passion for music, I also had the passion for computer programming, and so my whole youth was spent struggling between studying violin and trying to learn programming on the computer. And I can say that the combination of these two passions brought me to the idea of creating virtual sheet music, which was triggered by the invention of the internet. It was really an amazing invention, I can say, because I just jumped on it right away. And I remember to send my first email in 1995 to a cousin of mine in the UK. And I was amazed by the fact, oh my gosh, I just sent a text message to this person, far, far away, and she got it instantly. So I was really amazed by that. And I right away saw the powerful of these new media. And I thought, oh my gosh, we can really do something with this thing. I mean, I thought everybody can become like, a broadcaster or a publisher, or to the entire world. And so actually it was 1996, I began creating my own personal website where I used to just distribute my own musical composition in PDF file format already. And I had a lot of people downloading it, and they asked me for more music. And it was just until, I think, 1999, yes, when we started, that I found myself looking for sheet music. I needed I think it was the first violin part of the Debussy's quartet. And I had to perform at the time. And my local music shop didn't have any sheet music of it. So I thought, okay, let's look on the web, which was, still at the beginning, to see if I actually find it, to download. I had already this idea that it's logical, you can download images, you can download PDF files. I had already my personal website providing PDF files. So I thought, okay, let's see if there is any publisher online allowing me to download the PDF. And to my extreme surprise, I didn't find a single website offering classical sheet music to download. I think at the time there was Music Notes was, I think, the first one who came up with the idea of digital, but was just for pop music. So I didn't find anything. I was really disappointed. And so we started with this idea, okay, let's try to create a website where we actually sell classical sheet music to download. And so we came up with the idea of virtual sheet music. And I put myself on the computer keyboard, programming the first pages of the website. And we tried it. We put online, I think, a couple of pieces. And after a few days, we sold them. And I was amazed. So everything started from there. This is a short story.
Yeah, well, it's a very interesting story, and I guess you're having this background both as a musician and a technologist, like with computer programming. It kind of makes sense that you started this. Even the name makes sense in itself. Virtual sheet music. It's an online music distribution service.
That's very interesting. I mean, with the word virtual, my idea since from the beginning was to offer sheet music on the screen. Wasn't really to print it out. Print it out, of course, at that time, most people used to print it out. But I had already the idea in the future that everything will be going to be on just the computer screen. At that time, we didn't have any iPads, no smartphones. So my idea was just the computer screen. But that's why the word virtual.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We can actually talk about that a little bit.
Yes,
because you just said that, and it's true. At the time, there was no portable device to display the PDF files or other forms of digital sheet music. Since then, of course, we've seen the smartphones and more specifically the different tablets and the iPad. And we see a lot more musicians every year using iPads to perform on stage, but also to learn music, to teach music at school. And how has that helped you with virtual sheet music? Have you seen did you feel this trend going on the market? Does that impact your sales? Did you see some growth since the iPad came out?
Well, for sure. I mean, the creation of the iPad has created new opportunities for all the publishing world, not only music, of course, but mostly books. And I think the trend is just going to increase. And the fact is that as virtual sheet music, we started with the right mindset. We started with the idea of publishing digital files. And so we were ready. When the iPad came out, we said, oh, this is a perfect device. Before the iPad, actually, there were a few devices around that were not really mainstream, just for musicians, but they were bulky, very heavy, and you had a pencil to use them. And they were extremely slow. And so, yes, when the iPad came out, I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. We just needed a bigger screen. And when it was a little, small, the first iPad when it came out. And when the iPad Pro came out, I said, this is perfect. And they gave us the right size for music. So absolutely, I mean, the creation of the iPad, these touch devices, has been a revolution for our field, no questions.
Another thing that's very special, in my opinion, about virtual sheet music, it's the fact that you offer PDF downloads, and you've done that from the very beginning, as you explained. But the reason why this is interesting to me is because there's this big fear in the music publishing community, in the music publishing industry, about offering PDF downloads, because music publishers have seen the examples of audio recordings at the beginning of the century, where all the recordings were available online, and there was this big piracy, and so most of them are very afraid that something like that would happen with their catalog, and that it will be made available online, and they will lose their business, and this doesn't seem to be a concern that you share. I guess obviously with this background, it kind of makes sense that you trust digital and that you see an opportunity in it. But can you explain a little bit why you're not afraid of that, and why you chose to offer this?
Well, to tell the truth, I used to be concerned. I used to be afraid. I'm not afraid anymore after so many years. But when we started, I was afraid to sell PDF files, because I thought, oh my gosh, anyone can buy these PDF files, they can distribute them, they can publish them on their own website, and I'm going to lose business in a few years. I thought about that. But instead, we just grew, so no problem. Of course, we had events of people, stealing our PDF files and reselling them, even on eBay on DVD, which is insane. But I also found also our PDF files on BitTorrent, which is a very common network for exchanging files illegally. But after a few years, I thought this is not going to be a concern, because there is a balance. When you sell sheet music or any kind of media on the internet, which is downloadable, you have the advantage of the mass distribution and the ease of fruition. So that compensates any possible loss due to piracy. And if you look at Apple has solved the problem with iTunes. It was 2001, I think. When Napster came out, everybody knows the story behind Napster. Napster took over the recording industry by allowing people to share files for free of music. And to be sincere, I also downloaded some music from Napster at the time. It was fun. My gosh, you could find anything. Of course, it didn't last long because of legal issues involved, but Apple, I think, solved the problem beautifully. And at the base of its invention is the concept of giving value to the digital file. And I think that's basic. It's really a paramount concept. Because once you give value to a file, whatever is a video, audio, PDF file, whatever, people can see the intrinsic value of what you give them in the same way they see it for physical products. And so people are willing to pay. And they don't want to, even if they have the opportunity to find them somewhere for free, if they're willing to pay for quality, and for, I don't know, it's just a matter of mindset. And so I think it's not a problem. It's for sure it's hard for, traditional publishers that they have published for years paper sheet music, real physical sheet music, to move into this new world because they're afraid to lose control, right? And I was afraid of that at the beginning as well. But as I said, as soon as you have this new media, which is the digital file, you realize you have this incredible power to put everything on scale You produce a file and you can distribute it millions times everywhere instantly. And that's really is so huge compared to the little risk you may have from piracy.
Right.
That, I mean, really doesn't matter to me.
I think it's a very interesting point of view, because if you allow me to rephrase a little bit and maybe develop on the idea behind that, what I think I understand from your point is that if in any case with the internet, if you distribute any medium, and since it's so easy today to digitize any also paper score or something,
yes,
anyway, your catalog will end up on the internet. So you might as well jump right in and do it for yourself. And you expand into such a big market that it will outweigh all the costs that you have.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. Do you have this opinion coming from a music publisher? And again, we know that you're a big technologist. So you've been you've been doing this for years now, and this wasn't necessarily the case of many of your colleagues of other publishing houses, at least before 2020, because in 2020 there was something very special. There's, obviously, with the COVID crisis, the music community has been very impacted with crisis. Schools and ensembles had to close their doors and switch almost immediately to remote learning and started to use digital sheet music and platforms to maintain the connection with their audience, maybe via doing a live event on Zoom, or using other software and platform. And that has also been the case for music publishers. We've seen a lot more music publishers digitize their catalog and experiment with digital distribution, because this was the only way they could keep on doing business back in 2020. And so the adoption of digital distribution has really been driven in a way by COVID. Was there a change in the mindset of music publishers in general?
Yes, definitely. I think this pandemic has changed the world forever. So we were already experiencing that trend. Everything is moving to digital. Musicians are moving to using iPads or touch devices. But with this pandemic, humanity, the entire humanity has been forced to use the internet more than ever, and to be connected just digitally. And so this has given such a huge push to that trend that we cannot escape. And I think will continue to accelerate even more, even after the pandemic. And similarly with the school system, I think something has changed forever. I heard stories of, even with my kids at school, they are doing everything online. They are using Zoom all the time. I heard stories about teachers that they didn't know computers very well, and now they have been forced to become tech savvy and computer literate in some way. So everybody has become more technological during this time, and this on one side. On the other side, there are just regular people that have been forced to stay home. And, staying home, you get bored. So what do? You do try, you try to nurture your hobbies, or you try to invent new hobbies or learn new skills. And you have no idea how many people during this pandemic have learned to play an instrument. That's amazing. The piano industry, for example, the piano sales industry almost doubled during this time because people bought more pianos than before. I think on one side, of course, this pandemic is terrible, mostly from the human standpoint, because we are missing the social, side of our lives. But on the business side, for whatever is based on digital, well, has been a huge jump into the positive side. I'm not talking about, of course, the physical world industries, restaurants and the kind. I really feel sorry for them. That's really bad. Yeah. But in our field, I can't complain, and I think even after post-pandemic, the trend will continue, of course.
Yeah, it's I can definitely agree with you on this. At Newzik, we've seen a huge number of new members joining the platform and starting to use our software, probably as a means to replacing their or to try and maintain the same connections that they had when they played in a band or in an orchestra or something during the pandemic. So I'm very glad that we could provide them with a way to keep on doing music. And also, as you said, a lot more people picked up an instrument and try to do something with their free time. And I guess we can all agree that this is a good thing for the music community, for culture in general. And it's interesting to see that the COVID crisis had such a weird impact. It has two sides for the music industry. All the professionals are without job for almost a year now, maybe a bit more in certain countries. So it's very tough for everybody, and we do hope that we can go back to normal as soon as possible. But on the other end, as you said, there are also many good dynamics with this for the music community. Coming back to digital scores. I think that there's something very interesting about what you said earlier when you talked about iTunes and Napster. If we talk a little bit about what has happened in the recording industry, the main business model now obviously is streaming. So with platforms such as Apple Music or Spotify or other streaming platforms out there. And most people are now used to this model of access of paying a subscription and getting all the music that they want. And streaming has completely took over the entire industry, even though some physical formats still exist, such as a little bit of CDs, vinyl is coming back, but I don't have numbers. Maybe I'm saying nonsense, but I guess it's probably 90%. Even more of the business who's in streaming right now. What do you think will be? What is the scenario that you see for digital sheet music? Do you think this will be the same kind of global revolution and people transitioning from paper to digital, or do you think the situation in say 5 to 10 years will be more like the ebooks, for instance, and having a portion of the market, 10 to 15%, depending on the countries, and also like some specific use case, such as for education, where the ebook is very widely used. But yeah, do you think we're gravitating more towards like a global revolution as with audio streaming, or more like a double use, or just a smaller adoption as with the ebook?
No, I think, as I said, we are living a disruption, and the trend is going to go up like an hyperbole, and so the streaming industry has demonstrated that. YouTube has demonstrated that. And the physical world, will continue to exist, but will become just a niche market, I think. The same way happened with the regular books. For example, I personally prefer to read an ebook on my iPad because I can easily, take notes and change them or look for the dictionary for a word I don't know. My wife, Laura, she prefers real books. She likes the smell of the book. I understand that. I like that too. But on a practical standpoint, there's no comparison to me. But this trend is going to continue. And there is another fact, which I think is pretty important. And I can say clearly that we at Virtuosi Music really care about this, which is the environment. And since we began our business, we always thought about how the digital world can help with the environment as well. If you think about it, what happened even with a news publishing industry, most people read the news online. How many people is still using the newspapers? I don't know. I mean, I think the last time I read news on the newspaper was probably 10 years ago. So if you think, even the mail I receive, the physical mail I receive every day in my mailbox, has been reduced of, 100 times. So that's a huge impact on the environment as well. And I think this digital trend will help the environment too. And with all the problems, the environmental problems we have nowadays, global warming, everything related, that trend is going to be increased even more on that as well.
I think it's an important, a very important topic and debate, the environment today. I'm not sure if I share your analysis for digital sheet, the impact of digital sheet music, because most of the times, as we said when we began, starting to use digital sheet music means buying a tablet, like an iPad, and that has also an environmental cost, a carbon footprint associated with it. But interestingly enough, what the research suggests on that is that if you're there were quite an extensive research for ebooks on the matter, and the conclusions of this research was that depending on how many books you read a year, it makes sense environmentally speaking to go for ebooks if you're an avid reader. If you're only an occasional reader, then you will have a bigger footprint if you buy a Kindle, for instance. I guess we can say it's the same thing for scores. If you're a professional musician and it's your job and you play dozens and dozens of pieces every year, and every time it's a different score and you have to print it out, or there's also all the logistics involved with physical distribution when you order a score in paper and all the distribution channels. Have a very big footprint on the environment. So if you're a professional, then probably it makes sense. Environmental. It makes it makes sense for the environment to go use digital. Maybe it's a bit more complicated with amateurs if they want to buy an iPad. But again, if it's a device that you already own, then you might as well use it for something else and for digital sheet music. If you don't buy a new device, then it's obviously a good thing for the environment to go for for digital sheet music. There's another idea that you expressed. It's this idea of having an extra interactivity with the medium. So you said that you liked, for instance, to use to read ebooks because you could bookmark things easily. You could add notes in such a way that was not necessarily possible, or at least that was more complicated with paper books. And that makes me think of something that I saw on your website at Virtuosi Music. It's that you also provide, for some of the titles that you sell, you also provide audio accompaniments or even videos with the score. And I guess that's something that's very new for digital sheet music, is that it's not only music notation anymore. It's also all these extra features that you can add on top of that, and that makes learning music and practicing and rehearsing much easier and maybe more fun as well for many people, especially for amateurs.
Well, absolutely. That was a natural evolution of our business, because our core business has always been will always be the digital sheet music publishing side. But there are many other complementary activities we are working on, which complements our product. Starting from since our inception, we decided, okay, let's offer also MIDI files together with our sheet music. So we started giving MIDI files, I think back in the 2000. I think it was 2000, yes. And then after a few years, we decided, okay, let's provide also MP3 files. And then I think it was 2004, 2005, we decided, okay, let's offer MP3 accompaniment files, which allows, give you like a play along kind of experience. And we are still offering those. And so the natural evolution was, okay, MIDI files, MP3 files, and then video files. When YouTube came out, I think it was 2008, well, we need a YouTube channel, we need to create some videos. And the idea is, take you on this path. It's a natural path where you find yourself creating videos. We also had, music lessons. We have these music experts section on our website where we have professional musicians giving music lessons for free. And it's been very successful. And I think, the more media we have, the better to educate music to people and to let them enjoy music better. So, we are waiting for the next medium, which I don't know, maybe virtual reality. I think that's going to be huge in the coming years. And holograms, maybe. Or we are going to wait for Elon Musk and Neuralink to connect, each other with the brains. So I'm ready for that. I'm ready. I'm very excited.
Oh, this is going to be very exciting for sure. There's a thought that just crossed my mind. I would like to know if you agree with it. Is that by offering these extra layers, so having audio and other additions to the score besides the music itself, in a way you're creating a format that is not otherwise accessible online. Isn't that the best protection that you can get against piracy by differentiating the product and the value that you add to your product from what's otherwise accessible for free online? Maybe you offer something that is on top of the market, and that's much more enjoyable for your clients, and that justifies the fact that they have to go to your website and actually pay for it instead of just getting something for free online. Do you agree with this?
I agree, absolutely. Even gives you a way to reach more people, so increase your reach, and gives you a way to free advertise on different channels. We just on our YouTube channel, we just reached 100,000 subscribers, which is a pretty good number. And so we have all these people that follows us weekly with our YouTube videos on YouTube. And that's a huge marketing channel for us. The same way with all the social, networks, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And that they really are hungry for this kind of digital media we offer, video, audio, images, whatever. They just eat everything we give them to eat. Yes, well, absolutely. So I agree. It's very powerful.
Well, great. Well, I guess that's a good end to the conclusion, to the discussion. Thank you very much, Fabrizio, for joining me today and discussing all of this. So we talked a little bit about your website, YouTube. If people want to learn more about you and virtual sheet music and browse your catalog, where should they go?
Well, just virtualsheetmusic.com, and they can find everything we offer, and look for the free sheet music section to start from. And if you are interested in the music lessons, search for music experts, and you will find a lot of content to enjoy. Mostly during this time of pandemic, I think is going to be a real blessing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Fabrizio. Best of luck to you for 2021, and thank you again for discussing with me.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you too. Thank you, Paul.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for watching. I hope you found this talk interesting and hopefully that make you think about trying out digital schools and see for yourself if you like the experience. If you want to learn more about Newzik, I invite you to visit our website newzik.com and create a free account to explore the platform. If you're a music teacher or student, you can also find out more about our special offers for education at newzik.com/education. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest releases, tutorials and interviews, and I'll see you again in another video. Bye!